impressive performance by a remarkably impressive young fighter.
So look, the Korean ILCPA boxing talk, Dallas, Texas. Now, with Errol Spence saying that since he won the title, he shouldn't have to be calling these champions out. Now, with him winning this fight tonight in spectacular fashion, do that put the pressure on you guys to make these other fighters at 147 fight him immediately?
Well, we can't make anybody do anything they don't want to do. That being said, you know what? He could say he shouldn't have to call guys out, but the fact that he's out there calling them out, it's pretty freaking cool. So you saying the fact that like he knows who he is, he knows what he can do. This is, you know, like for a guy that's like this sort of like laid back and chill and like respectful gentleman, whatever. He knows what he is. He's a badass, so and he knows it.
So you say he can't make these guys fight him? So.
No, but you know what? Calling them out and challenging their manhood and like getting in their face a little bit, ain't nothing wrong with that. Doesn't look mean, you know. Eventually, people are going to respond, you know. And honestly, I think when Keith Thurman is at 100%, has one fight to get stuff under his belt, I don't know Keith to be the kind of guy that runs away from anybody.
But can he bypass his two mandatories to fight a Errol Spence fight?
Excuse me.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Can Keith bypass his two mandatories to get that fight with Errol Spence?
Usually, look, boxing's a business, and including the championship organizations, and a unification fight trumps the mandatory, and money trumps everything.
Thank you. By August or September.
Well, first of all, he hasn't fought yet at 147.
Here.
Yeah, and he's going to win because he's fighting Jeff Warren. But
how realistic is a Spence and Crawford fight or Thurman and Crawford fight this year or next year?
Like, you know, anything is realistic that can make enough money. Anything is real. Now, that being said, like, I don't expect that you're going to see that. I think you'll see a Thurman Errol Spence fight before you'll see either one of them fight Crawford, because it's simply easier to make. And you know, Arab's out there with ESPN doing his thing, and I know no one's sitting there hating on him. He's entitled to do his thing, and you know, he's out there and he's investing his own money in it. But it's also probably no surprise that investing his own money, he would want to probably use his own guys. So like, you know, I don't think that fight, anyone's starting negotiations on one of those fights soon. I think you're far more likely when you know, down the line to see the guys that are more accessible for Errol to be fighting Errol.
So when you say you can't make these guys fight, well, what are these guys saying? They just don't want to fight Errol?
No, I mean, look, first of all, like, it's not like Keith Thurman has been running away. Keith Thurman had a really serious injury, hasn't fought in a long time.
What about Sean?
And by the way, if I had fought in a long time, Errol Spence would be the first guy I get in the ring with. If I'm testing my bad shoulder or my post-surgery person, I can get in the ring with fucking Errol Spence in the first fight. That's just common sense.
So, Luke, how do you make him then a bigger name? Why be a big name like Oscar was, a guy to his prime, who casuals do?
This is a guy from Texas. Now, I like to remember that he was born in Long Island, being a Long Island guy myself, but this is a guy from Texas, fighting in Brooklyn, who's not like, doesn't play the fool, doesn't go out there and get like attention for the wrong reasons, is a friggin' gentleman. He's like, he does everything the right way, which unfortunately in today's world don't play Instagram so well, you know? And he still had 12,000 people in the Barclays Center tonight. So what's he doing? We're heading in the right direction.
No, I'm saying, how do you take him to that next level, the casuals?
To be honest, he keeps doing what he did tonight, the guys of the caliber that he did it to tonight, he's going to do it himself. You know what I mean? You know, and like, you know, yeah, like, you know, Errol getting out there. Look, you know, this is not a guy that's going to get attention for the wrong reasons, which I think is a good thing. But he's so damn good, he's going to get attention for the right reasons.
Is he the type of generational welterweight star that Floyd Mayweather was? Are you looking at this? I mean, obviously.
Do I think he has that kind of upside? I think he's one of the very few guys in the world who does. Right? I think he's one of the very few guys alive right now fighting that has that kind of. I mean, it's a handful, and he's one of them. That has that you know. And honestly, there's a lot of things about him that remind me of Ray Leonard, who was my good friend, and we worked together for years when I was at HBO. he was announcing, and we rode a long time together. Ray was the nicest guy outside the ring with a smile on his face. He always understood, even when he was having problems, whatever, how to act, how to conduct himself in public and in front of people, and with the fans, how to be accessible. But then he'd get in the ring and you'd see this look in his eye, where like you knew that now it's business. Now the guy in front of me is trying to hurt me, and I'm gonna try to hurt him. And that killer instinct, like this is like a kid that has that kind of killer instinct. You know, he's the whole package, and I don't see any reason to think that his popularity is going to grow really quickly, because it's growing really quickly as it is, and it's just going to grow quicker.
Lou, fast forward to March.
Have you guys ever reached out to Keith Thurman or anyone affiliated with you? And can you guys, even if
Keith Thurman stood here with Errol Spence on his dais like a while back, a couple of months ago, and it was clear. You know what though? Keith also kept it real. I haven't fought in a year. I'm not getting in with this guy. You know, when I haven't tested my body or myself, and I've had all that time off. I know Keith. Keith's not going to get in with some schnook. I mean, Keith's got pride and he's a champion. When Keith comes back and the fight's announced, it's going to be a real fight. But it could be Errol Spence in the first fight.
But it's like when Andre Ward, when he came back off of, his little hiatus,
right.
He had a 3-fight deal. But we knew at the end of that 3-fight deal he was going to fight Sergey Kovalev. So can Keith Thurman do something like that?
Yeah, I expect
he has 2 fights.
I'm sure you're going to see. Look, there's a lot of good welterweights in the sphere of fighters that you're seeing fight here regularly that are the PBC and Showtime worlds right now. And the wealth of talent at welterweight is excellent. And like, you mean, you got Porter, who's a top flight guy, who's a beast. You have Thurman, who's like a big, strong, one of the bigger 54-pounders in the world. You also have the ability for Spence to move around a little bit in weight. I don't think Errol would turn down a great challenge at 54. I mean, there's plenty of good fights to make it. And you certainly with Errol don't have a guy that's afraid to fight anybody, or a guy that's ducking anybody. I've never seen a guy as good as him, who is a champion, running around calling out everybody on earth.
But the difference between Keith Thurman, when he talks to Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, and the other welterweights, he talks as if he has superiority with them. When it comes to Errol Spence, he don't talk like that.
Well, I think, you know what? Keith's one of the smartest guys I know in the business. And he's a smart kid in general, a smart human being. I mean, doesn't mean you're afraid of the badass, but you got to acknowledge he's a badass. I think Keith Thurman knows he ain't going to have an easy night fighting Errol Spence. By the way, I think Errol Spence will probably tell you he wouldn't have an easy night fighting Keith Thurman either.
Don't you think that looks strange to the fans when we see him talking real tough to these other guys, and when it comes to Errol Spence, he's all quiet?
You know what, man, is respect that hard to conceive of? I mean, like anybody else, like a great songwriter recognizes a great songwriter. Billy Joel knows how good Bruce Springsteen is.
So he didn't
and vice versa.
For Danny or
so for Errol Spence, Keith Thurman to sit there and say, I know Errol Spence is a tough challenge, and Errol Spence is a hell of a fighter. No, there's nothing about that that's inappropriate or shows any kind of fear or anything.
Lou, every welterweight. Lou, every one of the top welterweights, every one of the so-called top welterweights can look at Errol and he gets a direct comparison. Sean Porter lost to Brooke, he beat Brooke. Sean Porter with McGregor and knocked him out.
If you want to do that 6 degrees separation,
and you can do it
then
again.
you're going to be really scared of it when you start doing that.
Yes, well, when you do that, I mean, because you have now Danny Garcia is fighting next month, and there are some people who thought that he lost to Peterson and you saw him at Spence. So,
I just got to look at what, I don't even have to think about that shit. I just got to look at what I see in the ring and what this kid's capable of doing. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. His body work is extraordinary. I mean, like this guy can beat you up without hitting you in the head.
but you have to admit.
And by the way, when you start hurting a guy to the body, then that guy's hands drop. That guy's body's being, battered. His hands drop, and then he's wide open. And you saw Lamont's eyes and face at the end of the fight. I mean, it's hard to deal with the arsenal that Errol Spence is throwing at people.
But don't like this gentleman said back here, don't you agree that fans are going to now make that direct comparison with David fight next month? They're going to say, hey, you thought you lost to Peterson, and Peterson is going to kick by Spence. That's going to carry over in the discussion. It's very good.
I mean, look, it's, you want people to talk about boxing. You want people to watch a show and come back and say, what if this happens, and what if that happens, what if this guy fights, that guy. You want build up for fights. You want people, you know what? And frankly, this kid is his popularity and his star is going to continue to rise the more people start making those kind of analyses, But see what's special about Errol Spence and it's special about all of the top level, the highest level of talent in boxing is when someone's this good, their talent becomes water cooler discussion. You see that kid Saturday night on Showtime. That kid Saturday night on Showtime was a beast. Man, who's going to beat that kid? You know what I'm saying? And that's what the buzz that he's creating right now. He said it many times. Like he does his talking in the ring, and he really does his talking in the ring. He talks really loud in the ring.
Well, you said that you thought that he would beat Lamont Peterson. We all did.
I did, but I didn't think it would be. I really didn't think it would be the kind of situation where it would be. It would have been what we saw tonight. But I think that early in the fight, he landed some good shots, and they made it pace. The great Barry Hunter.